In this video we're going to make Chuck, one of the Angry Birds. Now I'm going to use some flour and modelling paste. I've just got the Renshaw's one here because it's ready dyed. So I'm just going to start by rolling it into a bit of a ball. And then we want to create a bit of a triangle shape for him. So I'm going to try and keep it like a sort of a 3D pyramid shape for this one. So we're going to squash 3 sides. You might find it easier to pick it up, rub it on the table on each side until you get the shape that you want. Now it doesn't need to have really straight edges, he's quite sort of rounded on the corners. And we're going to use one of the flat sides for the front of it. I'm just going to roll a tiny bit of white, nice and thin. And using a round cutter, we're just going to cut a circle out of that. I'm just going to put a little bit of water on the back of that circle so that we can stick it onto the body. Now this is going to be the bottom of him, so I'm just going to put it so the circle just comes up over that bottom edge, and then we'll fold the rest underneath his body like that. And again, with the white, we're just going to roll it nice and flat, and we'll cut out 2 small circles now for his eyes. So I've just got a round plunger cutter that we're going to use, and we're going to stick these on. Now his beak is going to come to just here, just above the white bit of the tummy that we've put on. So we're going to put the eyes just slightly higher up, so I'm just going to put a bit of water on where I want them to go, and I'm just going to push them on like so. Try and keep them even. If you put a bit much water on, you'll find they slide about a little bit, like what mine I've just done. So for his beak, I'm just going to take a slightly deeper yellow. So I've mixed a tiny bit of red in with the yellow I already had to just try and make it a slightly different colour from his body. Now the beak is the bit that I find the hardest on these, so we're going to make the top bit of the beak a bit bigger than the bottom. So I'm just going to pull a small amount off, and we're going to try and create a bit of a triangle shape. Oops. Just see what it looks like size wise against his face. It's not too bad. I'm just going to widen it a little bit at this far end, and I'm putting a slight indentation just either side of his beak. And we'll just stick that in place with a little bit of water. Like so. Hopefully that will stay on. We'll put a little bit of water just below his beak now, where we're going to stick the bottom half of his beak on. I'm going to make that smaller than the top bit. Again, we're going to try and create a little triangle shape. And then we're going to push that underneath, like so. I'm just going to curve the beak ever so slightly. And now adding a bit more red to that orange, we're going to create him some eyebrows. I've added a tiny bit of brown to it as well. And we're just going to roll it out, and we're just going to cut 2 eyebrows out. So we just want a nice thin strip cutting, like that. And we want a couple of pieces for his eyebrows, so I think about that length should be fine. Cut them a similar length, and we'll just see what they look like against his face for size. So it might be a tiny bit long, so we might have to just cut a really small amount off each one. And then when you're happy with it, we can stick those in place just with a little bit of water. One of mine looks a little bit longer than the other one, I think. And now we need some black for his little tuft of hair and tail. So I've just got a small amount of black here, and I'm just gonna half that, and I'm going to squash it down a little bit, keeping one side flat. I'm going to cut some hair out for him. So what we'll do is we'll just cut some little triangles out of there. Try and make the pieces a little bit smaller as we go further around. I'm just going to bend them all. But I'll do it this way. Bend them all so they're pointing in one angle. I don't know if you can see that very well, sorry. So they're all bent going that way. I'm just going to put a little bit of water on the bottom of that, and we're going to push that onto the top of our bird. And be careful not to get black on your hands as I've done, because it leaks straight out into anything that's wet. So I've got wet hands and the dye's just stuck to them, and then I've managed to get it on the rest of the bird. You're going to want 2 really small black balls from this as well that we're going to stick in for his eyes. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of water on the whites of his eyes. And if I can, just going to try and gently put those on the whites without knocking his beak. Just use the handle of my paintbrush to stick them in place. And taking the last bit of black, we're going to just squash it down again a little bit. And I'm going to cut out the bit for his tail. So I want to cut like a triangle in the black and then a triangle out of the black at each side, so it's going to look like that. And then we're just going to trim either side. And this is going to be our tail shape. And again, they're just going to curl round just a little bit. And we'll just attach them to the back of him using a little bit of water. And we're just going to stick that to the back, like so. Okay, and I'll put the finished picture up. I've made a few of the different ones as well, so please do have a look at all the videos. Thank you for watching.
If you liked this video and would like to see more, please click on the images of the other videos suggested. Also, please do subscribe to my channel using the button at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. You can also visit my cake website and my Facebook page to see more cakes and ideas.